Welcome to Live Interactive English. Hi everyone, I'm Nina.
Hello everybody, welcome. I am Shane and we're looking at how the camel got his hump, part 2.
Yes.
And so in the story in part 1, we have a lazy camel.
Yeah,
Basically,
very lazy.
He's lazy. He just likes to eat. He likes to relax. All the other animals come up to him and try to teach him how to be helpful to the man, but he doesn't. So let me ask you, do you consider yourself a hard worker, or are you lazy like our camel?
I would say I'm pretty hardworking.
Oh, would you?
Yeah, what about you?
I'm pretty lazy like the camel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sounds about right.
I like to sit around, eat. If I have to work, I think I have a good work ethic.
Okay.
But I try to arrange my life so that I don't have to work too hard.
That makes sense.
Do you know what I mean? So when it's time to work,
you do what needs to be done.
and I think I'm a pretty good team player.
You pull your weight.
I pull my weight. Unlike our coworker, I think you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know that person in a group who always has some excuse, or they're always late, or they have to leave early. And whenever there's a project that needs to be done, they disappear.
Oh, no. Yeah, I think usually in groups, there tends to be some people that don't work as hard as others, right?
They don't pull their weight and they expect you to do all of the work, and you have to make up for those people.
Yeah.
And that can make you pretty annoyed with them.
Yeah, and I think that's the situation that we have with the horse and dog and the ox.
And the ox, right?
They're annoyed with the camel.
They're annoyed with this lazy camel.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's find out what happens in part 2.
All right.
The horse, dog, and ox were very angry with the camel. Days later, they confronted him, but all he did was laugh and say,
"Humph."
It seemed that the three animals were powerless to change the camel's mind. However, everything changed when a jinn, a magical creature, appeared. The jinn agreed with the three animals that the camel should be made to work. The jinn went to speak to the camel, but all he got was the familiar response of,
"Humph."
Okay, welcome to part 2, how the camel got his hump. And in part 1, we have a pretty lazy camel.
Yeah.
He just says humph when the other animals try to teach him how to do something so he can be helpful to the man.
Yeah.
But he wants no part of it. He just wants to be lazy and enjoy his lazy life. So basically, let's find out what these animals are going to do to the camel.
Yeah.
What's going to happen?
Because what I remember was they had to work extra hard because he wouldn't.
Exactly. They had to pull his weight.
Yeah, let's see what happens. The horse, dog, and ox were very angry with the camel. Days later, they confronted him, but all he did was laugh and say, "Humph." Typical. Okay, so they confronted him. When you confront someone, it's usually you face someone and you talk to them about something that's bothering you, right?
Yeah.
Or it's usually an uncomfortable thing to do, but you confront someone.
To confront somebody, yeah. And we call that a confrontation. So some people really don't like confrontation. They prefer to not talk about uncomfortable things.
Yeah, because sometimes confrontation will lead to arguments.
An argument, a fight, no good.
Yeah.
Okay, so he laughed.
And said, "Humph."
This time he laughed at them. So they're angry, and he's like, "Humph." Okay. It seemed that the three animals were powerless to change the camel's mind. However, everything changed when a jinn, a magical creature, appeared.
So I wonder what the magical creature, this jinn, can actually do to maybe change the camel's mind, or something else.
Do some magic to make him just start working.
We'll see.
Well, magical's an adjective. We know what magic is, right?
Yes.
It's like kind of like special powers that are not natural.
Harry Potter has them.
Yep, Harry Potter has lots of magic, and like genies have magic. So this jinn is a magical creature. And magical could also mean something that's very wonderful and extremely pleasant, right?
Yes.
So our example sentence here, the night sky looks magical when it's filled with stars.
Oh, yes.
So it's like magic because they're so beautiful that it can't be real. This has to be something unnatural, like magic, right?
Wow. Yeah. Okay, so continuing, the jinn agreed with the three animals that the camel should be made to work. Okay, so the jinn agrees. Yeah, the camels should be working too because all of you animals are, right?
You're working and you're having to pull his weight and, pick up his slack. That's another way to say when you have to do work for somebody who's not doing their work, we will say to pick up someone's slack.
Yeah, or you can say the camel is slacking.
Oh, that's right. Okay, continuing the story. The jinn went to speak to the camel, but all he got was the familiar response of
Humph.
humph.
All right, so the response is a reaction or a reply to a question, a statement, or situation.
Right.
So for example, I sent Kathy a message and eagerly waited for her response. Okay.
Well, it sounds like this camel is pretty stubborn.
Yeah. Well, he's enjoying his lazy life, but let's see if he's going to have to pay for it.
Well, because he's enjoying it at the expense of the other animals.
Exactly.
Right? All right, let's find out what happens after the break.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。故事里面的骆驼，它整天吃东西、放松休息，拒绝工作，那使得马、狗、牛必须加倍努力工作来弥补它所没做的工作。这些动物就对骆驼很生气。几天后，他们就来质问骆驼，那他只是笑着说：“哼，那看来他们是无法改变骆驼的主意。”不过，当精灵出现的时候，一切都改变了。精灵是一种魔法生物。那他也赞同三只动物的看法，认为应该让骆驼工作。精灵就去跟骆驼谈，可是得到一样的是 humph 这样的回应。Shane 老师就有提到说，动物们得接受骆驼的工作。那他用到 pick up the slack 是表达说接手未完成的工作。那么 Nina 老师说 the camel is slacking， 这时候这个 slack S-L-A-C-K， 这时候它当动词则是有松懈或是怠惰的意思。再看到课文单字 magical， 它是形容魔法的、有魔力的，那么它也可以指神奇的。response 是当名词，表示回答、回复或是回应。那补充单字 confront， 它是动词，表示与什么对峙或是对峙、面对。它的名词是 confrontation， 表示对峙或是冲突。有些人呢会刻意避免跟人起冲突，避开这种令人不自在的处境。老师们用到 uncomfortable 这个字，就是在 comfortable 前面加上否定字首 un， 那它是形容不自在的、不舒服的。这边两个重点，我们进入文法时间。好，我们来看第一个重点是 It seems that 主词加动词的句型。那么 seem 当连缀动词表示似乎好像，这个句型当中的 it 是虚主词，那么 that 可以省略。我们也可以把这个 that 子句当中的主词移到句首，把它改写成主词 seem to 加原形动词。例如 It seems that everyone has a smartphone these days， 也可以说Everyone seems to have a smartphone these days。如今似乎每个人都有一只智慧型手机。第二重点是 change somebody's mind， 表示改变某人的主意、看法或决定。像 Once she makes a decision, it's impossible to change her mind。一旦她做了决定，要让她改变主意是不可能的。解华课文中。
The jinn warned the camel not to say that again, but of course the camel stubbornly replied,
Humph.
Immediately after and quite quickly, a giant hump grew on the camel's back.
That's your very own hump that you've brought upon yourself by not working,
said the djinn. But why the hump? So the camel could use it for nourishment and work for 3 days straight without eating or drinking. That way, the camel could make up for the days he hadn't worked since the animals had first asked for his help. So, the camel finally left the desert and joined the other animals in helping the man.
Welcome back. So before the break, we've got our lazy camel. All of the other animals are really angry at him.
Yes.
But this is all going to change because we've got a magical djinn. And this magical djinn goes to the camel and he's like, yo, man, you should be working.
Yeah, so the magical djinn agrees with the other animals that he should be pulling his weight, right? So let's see what happens.
Yeah, but he just said humph again to him, right? So he's like, humph. So, yeah, the magical djinn, he's magical. He can do magic, so you don't want to make him angry.
All right, let's see. The djinn warned the camel not to say that again. But of course, the camel stubbornly replied, humph.
So he says, don't you say humph again. And he goes, humph. Like,
what are you going to do about it?
What are you going to do about it, Mr. Djinn? So to warn somebody means to tell somebody about something.
Yes.
Especially something dangerous or unpleasant that is likely to happen so that they can avoid it.
So it's usually before it happens. You give a warning, which is the noun of warn.
Right. So you warn somebody not to do something, usually because there's danger.
Yes.
If they do that thing.
Or something bad will happen.
Right. So for example, my grandmother used to warn me about going out in the cold without a jacket. Because if you go out in the cold without a jacket, you could catch a cold, right? Get sick or get hypothermia. Not good. Okay, continuing the story. Immediately after, and quite quickly, a giant hump grew on the camel's back.
Wow. So immediately is an adverb, and it means without delay, instantly, or straight away.
Right away.
So he said humph, and then immediately a hump grew on his back. All right. So an example sentence for immediately is, when we heard the bell, we immediately left the classroom. That used to be me.
I always say, as soon as the bell rings, I'm out of there.
Yeah.
All right, so we know that this is a magical creature.
Yeah.
So I guess we can assume that the djinn put that hump on there because he disobeyed him. He warned him, don't you dare hump me again. And there goes the hump.
Yeah, so he got a hump for all of the humps it was saying.
So continuing, that's your very own hump that you've brought upon yourself by not working, said the djinn.
Okay.
Right. But why the hump? So the camel could use it for nourishment and work for 3 days straight without eating or drinking.
Wow.
So he has this big old hump now that basically saves all of the food and water and the nourishment in there. So he doesn't need to just keep eating, and he can just work.
For 3 days straight.
Wow.
That's incredible. Okay, so that way the camel could make up for the days he hadn't worked since the animals had first asked for his help.
So it must have been 3 days that this has been going on.
Okay, so the camel finally left the desert and joined the other animals in helping the man.
Okay. Well, I still don't think that he's happy about it, right? I mean,
don't think
he
so.
didn't want to work.
But also, he could have just stayed with the hump, right? Maybe the only way that the djinn would consider taking away the hump would be if he worked.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, why? Just because I have a hump, that's not going to make me want to work now.
Yeah, we
I
don't
will
know.
probably feel pretty uncomfortable because now I got a big hump on my back.
Yeah.
But okay, I mean,
Maybe he doesn't like the way it looks, so that's going to make him work for it.
maybe I don't know. But camels to this day still have a hump.
That's true. All right, so what do you think, Shane?
Okay.
What do you think the story is trying to tell us?
Oh man, that's a good question. I mean, the most obvious thing is that you should pull your weight.
Yes.
Like I said before, pull your weight means you need to do your part
Of the work.
of the work that you need to do when you are part of a group. And it's a group effort. So if you don't, maybe a magical creature will come and punish you.
Well, yeah, maybe the story is trying to tell us that if you don't pull your weight, then you might get punished. Or something bad might happen.
Or something bad might happen.
Yeah.
Basically, don't be lazy.
Yeah.
Get to work.
Do what you need to do. Okay.
Well, it's a very interesting story, and tell us what you think. You can always respond. You can send us messages. Let us know if you think this story has some other special meaning that we missed.
Yeah. Well, excited to hear from you.
Okay, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
故事里面的精灵警告骆驼不要再 hump， 但是骆驼还是固执的回答 hump。接着呢，骆驼背上立刻就长出一个巨大的驼峰。精灵说啊，这就是骆驼不工作而自找的 hump。为什么这么说呢？其实在英文里面这个 hump 跟这个 hump 驼峰肉瘤，它们的发音是类似的，所以它才会这么说。那有了驼峰呢，骆驼就可以用它来吸收营养，连续3天不吃不喝的工作，也就能弥补它少做的那些工作了。那么骆驼终于离开沙漠，就加入其他动物来帮助人类。好，单字 warn 是当动词表示警告提醒 ，warn somebody not to 加上原形动词，就是警告提醒某人不要怎么样怎么样，尤其是指说叫他不要做某一些危险啊，或是令人不快的事。Shane 老师这时候用到一个形容词是 unpleasant 是形容令人不愉快的、不舒服的。那单字例句写到，奶奶以前总是警告我，天冷的时候出门不要不穿外套。Shane 老师这时候用到一个名词叫 hypothermia。hypothermia 是可以表达人体失温或是低温症。好，下一个单字 immediately， 它是副词，表示立刻、马上。那这边一个重点，我们进入文法时间。好，这边我们来学习 bring something upon oneself， 这表示自作自受、自找什么什么。那这个片语是用来指某人的行为或决定导致了某种不好的后果或困境，像是 It was all his fault. He brought it upon himself. 这全都是他的错，是他自找的。好，那么以上这讲解，同学别走开，马上回来哦。
The horse, dog, and ox were very angry with the camel. Days later, they confronted him, but all he did was laugh and say,
Humph.
It seemed that the 3 animals were powerless to change the camel's mind. However, everything changed when a jinn, a magical creature, appeared. The jinn agreed with the 3 animals that the camel should be made to work. The jinn went to speak to the camel, but all he got was the familiar response of,
Humph.
The jinn warned the camel not to say that again, but of course the camel stubbornly replied,
Humph.
Immediately after and quite quickly, a giant hump grew on the camel's back.
That's your very own humph that you've brought upon yourself by not working,
Said the jinn. But why the hump? So the camel could use it for nourishment and work for 3 days straight without eating or drinking. That way, the camel could make up for the days he hadn't worked since the animals had first asked for his help. So, the camel finally left the desert and joined the other animals in helping the man.
Sorry I'm late. Oh, you got me a coffee. Thank you.
It's been so long. I can't believe we're sitting here catching up after all these years.
I know. It's like we never skipped a beat. And I have to say, you look fantastic.
Thanks. Life's really been a roller coaster ride since high school, hasn't it? I never thought I would be the one bringing home the bacon.
Why are you only bringing home bacon? You should probably be getting more veggies and fruit and stuff in your diet. Bacon has a lot of cholesterol. Maybe you should have been a vegetarian. Yeah. What? What? Did I say something wrong?
Today, we're going to talk about the phrase, bring home the bacon.
Okay, so what does it mean to bring home the bacon?
Bring home the bacon is an English idiom that means to earn a living, particularly for one's family. It's often used to refer to the family's primary provider.
Okay, so it's not actually about actual bacon.
That's right. Okay. For example, if someone says, since my dad retired, my mom has been bringing home the bacon, it means that the mother is now the primary earner in the family.
I see. So I could also say, like, after years of hard work, she finally landed her dream job, and now she's bringing home the bacon with a great salary.
That's right. And it's not just about money. It can also mean to achieve success or get results.
So I could also say that the whole team is trying to bring home the bacon with the launch of a new product and redefine the industry.
Exactly. It's a phrase with various usages.
Thanks for explaining. I'm going to work hard now so that I can bring home the bacon.
That's all for today.
Well, see you next time.
Bye-bye.